I'm gonna try this out and see if this saves me some time. If I can live stream while I drink my coffee and not have to mess around with uploads, it's even easier for me. Um, my whole point in starting to post content is to try to backfill things I've thought about that I haven't seen covered in detail or haven't seen covered from the direction that I've thought about. Some of the questions that I've had that I don't fully understand the answers to, and it's not self-evident. But I'm going to take a minute to talk about dealer hedging or the bullion dealers hedging their positions. And as a person in business, I'm really fascinated by the whole concept of bullion dealers. Um, when I want to order a product, if I order something online or if I order a part for a piece of equipment I'm working on or whatever it happens to be. I don't know what happened if I took that call. Huh, I don't know how that works. Had a phone call in the middle of the live stream. My office number. Try this again. My phone number for my office landline is next to the cable TV. So I have old people calling me 3 times a day trying to reach their cable company because their remote control won't work. I've thought about just helping them out personally because they keep calling. Anyhow, the bullion dealers business model fascinates me. Um, I don't get it. Um, I mean, I get it, but I don't. There's a part of it that I don't get, and the part that I don't get is where does the money come from? If spot price determines the product, um, this product has to be purchased at below spot. They have to be working a business model that purchases product at below spot. Um, think about this. If you wanted to buy a Perth Mint coin that's available at $1.69 over spot, think about what it costs to ship a monster box or a pallet of or whatever quantity they are ordering of kookaburras or whatever they're selling, all the way from the Perth Mint in Australia to the get it to the U.S. markets, or even the Royal Canadian Mint to get it into the U.S. market. How many times have you seen a Canadian customer say, "Gee, I'd love to buy from you, but the shipping is outrageous," and yet they're able to ship the product from Canada to the United States and sell it for $1 over spot. Granted, I understand that these are several coins shipped in a in a bundle, but it still has to cut into the margin to ship it to them to turn around and ship it to you. The time that it takes to package these orders and ship them out the door, the double and triple wrapping of these coins in packaging to ship out, the cost of shipping, the all the different aspects of this business. This item that we're buying is not any different than buying a handful of lock washers at the hardware store or whatever happens to be. I am amazed that they are able to sell uh, minted coins from all over the world, all over the United States, small private mints, refiners, bars, everything that they sell for as close to spot as they do. Um, the margins on this product have to be incredibly thin, and thank you to the system that we're currently under. If the desire is to buy precious metals, we've never had it so good to buy bullion and have it shipped directly to us and at 50 cents over spot or whatever it happens to be. To be able to buy a 1 ounce bar of gold for $15 over spot, um, you know that that's an amazing thing to be able to manage that with such a small margin. No other business. I think. Can you think of another business that can sell a product at at so close to spot? The the underlying truth of this has to be that they pay less than spot for their product, but at the same time, they pay just a small fraction under spot to get the to do buybacks on the on common items. So the spread between the two is under 10% between what they pay and what they sell for. I can't think of another business that functions that tight on something that expensive. Um, think about what it would be like if they couldn't hedge their positions. Um, as an example, some of my experiences with local coin shops. When there's volatility in the marketplace that gives the feeling that the price is going up, my experience is that the coin shops don't put out anything of quality, or they keep stuff in the back and they study every customer for what they can potentially get out of the customer. Nothing in writing on the wall saying what they pay and what things sell for. Prices come off the products. Um, in general, my experience is limited. I'm not out there hitting a bunch of coin shops, but when you're dealing with a coin shop, um, it's more nuanced in the terms of what they think they can get out of the customer. If the customer's driving a hard bargain, I mean, there's a certain amount of haggling involved, and the person that doesn't haggle obviously is going to pay the highest price. Um, I remember one experience back when silver was around $30 an ounce, and the coin shop was not interested in selling any American Eagles unless they could get like $6 over spot for them. They had other product they were happy to get rid of, but they simply wouldn't part with their Eagles unless you wanted to pay a high premium. If you wanted to pay a lower premium, you had to buy stuff that was coal or dirty or something else they didn't want. But the silver they desired to keep would take on a super high premium, and the stuff that they didn't want would take on a lower premium. That's more of a market, more of a real marketplace, and that marketplace changes rapidly based on the whim of one person. These bullion dealers, they generally speaking, the prices are very competitive because they're competing with all the other online retailers. As a buyer, we've never had it so good. Um, as the price goes down, it's amazing because the product still flows. People don't go out of business. Um, I'm very curious what from a bullion dealer's perspective, what the ratio of buyers to sellers is. How can you have a marketplace where you have a lot more buyers than sellers, and it's just a continual outflow. This product continues to accumulate somewhere. Um, Very curious how long term a buyer is, how long people stay in a buying mode. But I'm just fascinated the um, by by the ability of the dealer to offer these prices. Um, Recently, I just picked up that round that's in the screenshot. It's the first Silver Shield round that I've purchased, and I've always wanted, to go backfill and get a Freedom Girl round. Um, and I'm looking at the premium on that coin and what the mintage numbers are on it, and I don't know for sure what the details are on a lot of that product, but overall, I'm kind of underwhelmed with certain aspects of the coin. Um, there's things I like about it. There's things I don't like about it. It's actually one of the first pieces I've purchased that it I purchased it because I wanted to look at it at a little with a little more scrutiny, and I think it's a good enough design that it should have been produced with a little bit higher standard. Um, the reading on the edge is mediocre. Um, the feel of the coin, it just doesn't feel. Um, I know it may seem weird, but it doesn't feel right. Um, I would like to have seen more relief in the coin, and it's because I like the design that I care what it looks like or that I want it to look better. But I'm going to take a look and go back and see what and find a proof coin of this design and see if that resonates with me. That was off topic, but anyway, my thoughts were mainly centered around the fact that we're able to get physical precious metals from around the world for hardly anything in premium, compared to the costs of handling and making, and the cost of minting, the cost of shipping, the cost of handling it between two or three different parties, and then shipping it to your door. Um, I'm stunned that you can purchase so close to spot. Um, and comparing that to my local option to purchase, the local pawn shop here, it's like a precious metals roach motel. Um, they buy they buy at very low prices. They won't pay anything close to spot. They pay like half spot, and people come in and sell their metal because there's no other buyer. And no, I don't want to get into that because I looked at that, and basically all, if you want to be a precious metals buyer in a small town, you're just telling every thief in town. Um, it just doesn't make sense, and I'll never go down that path again. It just with the being able to buy anonymous online from outside of your community seems like such a better idea. But precious metals marketplace in my town, one place to sell. Buy price is horrible. They don't sell back to the public, although they do offer like Morgans for $40, and they don't care if you want to buy one or not. And so they corral the metals for half of spot, and they don't sell it back out to the marketplace. And I'm assuming that they either hoard it themselves or they send it south and trade it in for cash and get it out of the marketplace, which seems silly to me. I would think that it'd be better to sell it locally and have it go out into the public, and then other people buy it or lose interest in it and then come back and sell it back. But perhaps the reason they don't sell it out is that they don't want to have that argument with the customer later to say, well, I sold it to you for spot plus $2, but I only buy it back for half of spot. Um, it's just it's a weird broken marketplace here. It's so bizarre, but it really contrasts how efficient how efficient these online sellers are, and I'm grateful to have them because I'd like to buy some metals at the cheapest price possible, and I'm not willing to open up a pawn shop and rip people off to get metals. So to me, this seems like the fairest way to do it, and I'm grateful for it. And I wish there were more designs that I found appealing, because I would collect a little bit if I found something of interest. Got a couple of gold sovereigns coming in the mail that were available on a really good spot price sale. Supposedly they're in AU condition, so we'll see how that pans out. But anyway, I am thankful for the ability to purchase online in the manner that we are right now. It's a really interesting concept, and I'm very, very interested in it. But anyway, this is the first live stream. I'll go back and listen to it, and I may turn around and delete it. Stop it. Let's see.